Dear Diary, so today I have put on this Fleur de Portofino by Tom Ford. This is a 2 milliliters decant rollerball, which I truly enjoy. I think it is enough to enable me to have a really good try of this fragrance. So this fragrance has a lot of notes, fragrance note. So just let me read it out to you and for record purposes. So it is an interpretation of white acacia flower, white acacia trees in the Mediterranean. So it focuses on the acacia blossom, citruses, and also acacia honey. So the top notes mix citruses and fresh flavors. So according to Fragrantica, there are bergamot, lemon, tangerine, bitter orange leaf, violet leaf. The heart is designed around the white acacia flower and complemented by white magnolia, orange blossom, rose, and jasmine. And the base is made of honey with cistus absolute, vanilla absolute, tolu balm, civet, and ambrette seed. So a lot of notes listed in here. To me, in my opinion, when I first put it on, it immediately skips all the citrusy notes listed, and it's almost like all the citrusy notes are not the zesty kind, but it's almost like a dry, fresh citrusy air kind of thing going on there. There are so many notes listed, and to my nose, in my opinion, when I first used this, I would say that all the citrusy notes are rather fleeting. It's almost like a dry, citrusy, fresh burst of air, and it vanishes in minutes, like in seconds. It's very quickly, it's finished, and I'm taken straight away to the heart of this fragrance. I would say that the tuberose really takes the center stage to my nose. Funnily enough, I don't think tuberose is really much featured in the note breakdown. It's white acacia flower, osmanthus, orange blossom, jasmine, rose. So to be honest, all these floral middle notes are blended so seamlessly together. I definitely could get the white floral element with osmanthus. Osmanthus is featured, and I can definitely get that osmanthus, but the osmanthus in here is not that usual apricot-y, almost fruity kind of osmanthus. It's like it's adding some kind of edge to this fragrance, like some kind of nectarine edge to this fragrance, I would say. And I'm not familiar with the acacia flower, so I cannot say anything about that. But orange blossom, yeah, maybe there's a tinge of orange blossom, and it's mixed together with this jasmine. Anyway, all of this white floral actually makes the whole thing quite tuberosy, to be honest. Yes, it's quite tuberosy. And the base note features here are the honey, the civet, the vanilla, the ambrette seed. And in my opinion, the honey is quite fleeting. Sometimes I do get the honey note and sometimes I don't. And when I do get that honey note, it really makes the whole fragrance some kind of tropical sunshine kind of fragrance. Imagine all the white flowers are blooming, very blooming and smiling at people, greeting people who are walking past them in the bright sunshine. And the honey smell, it is not the sweet candy kind, but rather it is like the almost like a green nectarine kind, I would say, the honey. There is some kind of sweetness from it, but it's very naturally, almost like it's in the plant, almost like it's in the flower still. I don't really get much of a rose, and I don't really get much of vanilla. But there is a slight spiciness, slight kind of like, aromaticness from this spicy note, I mean the amberette seed, and there is definitely a tinge of musk. But I don't think it's really that animalic, like in a civet, some kind of animalic scent. It's really quite florally. It's really quite overall. It's like a big bouquet of white flowers. Although tuberose is not listed, but I definitely get that tuberose vibe in here, and then honey note, which is very adorable and which is just so endearing to me. Just sometimes it's there to greet me, and I enjoy that moment very much. And sometimes it just hides behind all of these beautiful white floral bouquet. And as I tried this, it reminded me that it is very similar to another more affordable fragrance by Gucci, and that is none other than this one, the Gucci Bloom Nettare di Fiori. Nobody in Fragrantica says that, but in my opinion, it is definitely very similar. The Gucci Bloom Nettare di Fiori actually has the same main accords, like white floral, and although the tuberose accord is not listed for the Fleur de Portofino, but I really get that tuberose accord, although it is not listed. So now, the Gucci Bloom Nettare di Fiori, it has the common note of the osmanthus, which is why I like this, because I like the osmanthus. In here, it really adds the honey peachy kind of characteristic into this fragrance. And there are this tuberose, which is very similar to this orange blossom and jasmine. Tuberose, orange blossom, jasmine, which are also listed for Fleur de Portofino. So I think it is very similar in that way, and the osmanthus in here play more in this Gucci Bloom Nettare di Fiori compared to the osmanthus in Fleur de Portofino. The Fleur de Portofino osmanthus is quite muted down. It's like giving an edge, giving a little touch of almost honey, like peachy, like to round off the edges. But in Gucci Bloom Nettare di Fiori, the osmanthus really adds a lot more character and has a lot more voice in this fragrance. And the whole composition is just as white florally as the Fleur de Portofino. And as it dries down, it is quite similar because both of them has this white florally musk kind of undercurrent going on throughout the performance of these two fragrances. And I would have to say that I personally would prefer the cheaper, the more affordable the more affordable version of this kind of accords, perfume accords, the floral one. So I would prefer Gucci Bloom Nettare di Fiori because I think although the two are very similar, but Nettare di Fiori plays a lot more osmanthus. It is more like, it's more like a flowers, white flower, and it's blooming and smiling, same as this Fleur de Portofino. But in the Gucci Bloom di Fiori, Nettare di Fiori, the sunshine is quite different, I would say. It's more like a more romantic evening sunshine, and it's like there is a little bite of that gingery spiciness, which adds to the sexiness, to the overall sensuality to this fragrance, which Fleur de Portofino actually lacks. And Fleur de Portofino dries down quite linear, and there is not much development after that. But Gucci Bloom Nettare di Fiori, as it dries down, the more osmanthus comes to play. The ginger never loses its spiciness in here, which is very interesting and adds to the adds some dangerous edge to this whole fragrance, which makes it very enjoyable. So that's my comparison between Fleur de Portofino and Gucci Bloom Nettare di Fiori. So I do think that both of them are very similar, but I prefer Gucci Bloom Nettare Fiori, and it also saves some money in my bank, I would say. So that's all from me. If you are peeping into my diary, you can leave a comment down below, and I would really appreciate if you can subscribe. That's all from me. See you in the next one. Bye.